Welcome into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. South Georgia, let's talk sports. It's no secret that Lee County football is now a force to be reckoned with. They are widely considered the top team in Class 6A by publications across the Peach State, but the journey to prominence has been far from peachy. It's been a tough road that can be best described by the man who took control of that vehicle back in 2009. Strap up your seatbelts and enjoy the ride because Dean Fabrizio joins us on this episode of Sports Talk. That's just a little juice, a little flavor to get you pumped up for the show. Welcome into the show, Dean.
Guys, thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. Now, this is Dean Fabrizio, the winningest coach in Lee County football history. He's in his 9th season right now. The Lee County Trojans are 6-0 so far, and you guys are doing great. One of the best starts in program history, only matched by the 3 other times that you did it with the school. So, welcome in, and how do you feel about those Trojans right now?
Well, we feel pretty good so far. You know, we got a lot of tough games left this season, but so far so good.
Of course. Now, of course, you didn't start with Lee County. You've had a lineage of your own. You had your history. So let's go back to where it all began for you in college at Central Methodist University. We like to go through coaching resumes here, Coach. So back in '87, you actually went to school there, a 4-year letter winner as an Eagle. What position did you play there?
Believe it or not, I was a tight end many pounds ago.
There we go.
I was a tight end.
Hey, tight ends completely a little weight, man. You can still play tight end. Played tight end for the Eagles. You got your master's degree in educational leadership from the University of Missouri, I'm guessing afterwards,
yes,
as well as you served as a coaching assistant.
Yes.
So what did you learn there in your days at Central Methodist?
Well, you learn what it takes to play at the college level, and then was fortunate I get to stay on and coach there for a few years while I got my master's degree as a graduate assistant. You learn the work ethic that's needed and the behind the scenes of everything it takes to become a coach.
Of course, and then obviously the reason you did all of that was so you could become a coach.
Well, become a coach, and you know, that's what I had, you know, early on, something I wanted to do, and was fortunate enough to play college football, and then they kept me on as a graduate assistant for a few years after that, and then I went back to my you know, hometown of Orlando and coached for a few years.
Well, let's take a look at that. We have a graphic for that as well. We got it all here on Sports Talk. Your hometown of Orlando, Florida, the place where Disney World is, the land of magic, they say. You know, DeLand High School, you had 2 winning seasons there as a head coach, 5 years as an assistant at Edgewater High, where you guys had 54 games, 5 district championships, and all 5 years you guys were undefeated in the district. So you had some good times in Florida. I have a question for you now as a coach that's coached at the highest level in Florida and coached at the highest level in Georgia. Which one has the most competition there? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Well, there's great football and great coaches in both states.
Yeah.
You know, but there's nothing quite like football in Georgia, especially here in South Georgia.
Of course. I mean, you're just saying that now. Like, look, I'm going to send this to your people back in Orlando and see what they say to that. But, yeah, so you had some good years there. What'd you pick up there back in your hometown when you made that homecoming?
Well, I was really fortunate to work for several great coaches down there in Orlando and learned a lot from each and every one of them and was able to kind of put those things together and fortunate to coach in a lot of great programs there. You know, Edgewater High School, we had a great run of success there, playing in the state championship game 3 years in a row, and got an opportunity to be a head coach at the school in the largest classification at DeLand High School for a couple of years before coming up here to Georgia, and really learned a lot from those experiences, learned how to put a program together from several different good coaches, learned how to do it in different situations, which I think is important because every situation is different. No 2 situations are exactly alike, and I learned how to adjust the plans to different situations.
Right, and your next adjustment from there was, hey, you've been in Florida for most of your life. You spent some time in Missouri for college. Then you got introduced to Georgia, went over to Peach County. Let's take a look at some of the Peach County playing days there. You were defensive coordinator and assistant athletic director and that was a powerhouse of a program, still kind of is. What did you learn there?
Well, Chad Campbell, who was a head coach there, was a great head coach, and learned just a lot from him. First of all, how to deal with kids, how to stay on top of all aspects of the program. I was very, very lucky there to work for him, and really enjoyed my time there at Peach County, and thought I was going to stay for a really long time. And this opportunity at Lee County came open, and was fortunate enough to become the head coach here. All
right, for people unfamiliar with Peach County's success, they had a state title in '09. They had back-to-back state titles in '05 and '06 under the very familiar Rance Gillespie. They had 15 region titles all time, 3 state titles all time, and they haven't had a losing record since 1986. Some of that thanks to Dean Fabrizio, as well as the great tradition they have there. And you took that tradition, and now you've carried it over to a place that didn't really have a winning tradition in Lee County. Let's talk about your transition. You got the head coaching job here in Lee County in 2009. They had 19 straight losses when you took over this program. How have you transformed that now into what you guys have wrote?
Well, it certainly was a lot more than just me. We've had first of all, we have great kids there. And we've had great, hard-working kids in the 9 years I've been here that have really bought into the program. And we've been able to assemble a great staff of assistant coaches. You know, and you talk about Peach County, both our coordinators that are with me now were at Peach County several years. I couldn't get them to come with me right away, but they came with me eventually. You know, John Smith, our defensive coordinator, Nate Clark, our offensive coordinator, both do a great job. And we've got a whole host of assistant coaches that do a fantastic job. And then we've got great administrative support, you know, from the 2 superintendents I've worked for, Lawrence Walters, Dr. Walters, and Dr. Miller, our present superintendent. They've been just super supportive. Our school board does a great job supporting us. And the 2 principals I've worked for, Kevin Dowling and Dr. Karen Hancock, are just excellent supporters of athletics and academics, and really the overall picture. And then, you know, the 2 athletic directors, you know, Rob Williams, just learned so much from him and all his experience. Of course, he retired a couple years ago, and Hank Wright's taken over and just added to that. So we've had great support, great people there, and I think all that, from the community support to the players, the assistant coaches, the administration, all that's kind of come together to get us where we are now and get this thing to the point it is.
Yeah, and the point it is now is that 37 years before you got there, Lee County had 6 winning seasons. In the 9 years you've been there, including this year, you guys already have 6. Working on your 7th now. You only need 1 more win to get there. I'm sure you want more than just 1, but
we got 6, so we got it this year. So 6-0, so we've got right, we got it this year. So far, unless we go backwards somehow, but hopefully we get a few more wins this year.
Of course. And I want to read off a couple other things you guys have gotten done this year. Right now, you have 16 of the 18 first-place votes in the Georgia Sports Writers Association High School Football Poll. And you guys have been #1 for a few weeks in a row. How have you been able to make sure you stay atop that, as well as keep the guys focused for every game?
Well, you know, last year we debuted at #1 for the first time in school history, but that was short-lived. It only lasted a week, as we had to go play a great Northside team from Warner Robins. So this year, when we came ranked #1, it wasn't quite the hoopla it was, because it wasn't the first time. And you know, we've been in a tough league for the last few years, and we really stressed where, hey, you've got to refocus yourself each and every week. You can't get too high or too low, because every week's going to be a big game come region time. And we really got our kids to understand, and I think they've done a great job of this, that it's great. Enjoy the ranking. It's nice that people think that highly of you, but this isn't the BCS. This isn't college football, and at the end of the day, the ranking really doesn't mean a whole lot other than people think a lot of you, which is nice.
That is nice, and people thought a lot of a couple big-time athletes you guys had to face in Leesburg. I want to point to the fact that you've had to go up against 2 guys who are highly touted in Georgia, Jake Fromm out of Houston County, as well as Damian Pierce, the running back from Bainbridge. Jake Fromm was last year. You had Kirby Smart in the building, and your defense literally shut him down. He threw 4 interceptions in that game. You guys ended up beating Houston County 55-29. He only had 9 interceptions all season. What is it like getting your team ready against a guy who's, you know, a top in the state guy, a guy that's picking apart SEC defenses right now?
Well, I can tell you this. I felt a lot better Saturday when I saw Jake Fromm in a Georgia uniform, because I knew he wouldn't be lining up for Houston County, because that was a stressful week preparing for him last year. But, you know, we're fortunate. We've got some good players of our own, and we played really well that night. And Damian Pierce, another great player for Bainbridge, who we were fortunate to get a win against earlier this year. I believe they've been undefeated. That was the only game they've lost, and are playing really good football. We've got a great team down there, and their coach does a great job as well. So, you know, it's exciting, and that's what, you know, football, high school football is all about, and big-time high school football here in South Georgia is about. You're going to play against really good players, and you're going to play against really good coaches, and that's exciting, and our kids like that challenge, and our coaches like that challenge.
Right, now enough about the players. We'll get to the reason we're here, and that's about you, Coach Fabrizio. So we had some fun facts that we learned about you, and before we go to trivia, we want to talk about that. Your favorite food, tacos or chicken wings? If you had to pick one right now, which would you go with?
I could probably, right now, I could probably go for a plate of tacos.
Tacos.
I think so. Yes.
All right. Okay, and you could do the in-between and get chicken tacos, just to let you know. Favorite movie, Rocky. I like it. And then we'll learn a little bit more about your life, but I want to see, and I don't know if you know we did this, we talked to some players and to check out if they knew what you had. So let's see if they got any of these fun facts about you right.
Oh, boy.
Do you know what Coach's favorite food is?
Chicken. Them hot dog thingies. Them sausage links or something.
Also his favorite movie?
Fried?
What?
Fried?
No.
Friday Night Tights or something like that.
No, he said Rocky.
Rocky? Where?
There you go. I like it. So you got a couple good things there. Well, Coach Fabrizio, right after this break, we're going to play some trivia against each other. We'll see if you know some fun facts or just things about football in general. I'm probably going to win if we know how this game usually goes. And we'll see you guys right after the break. Welcome back to Sports Talk. This week we spent some time with Coach Fabrizio on the practice field.
That's right, and I learned about how things were run and how he's developed over time.
The volume at practice might be turned up to 11. And Coach Dean Fabrizio can't but help tap into his inner rock star. His singing voice, though, is quickly traded for a harsher bark. As players change practice stations during a game week, and Fabrizio pushes them along.
We know we got something to prove. So day in, day out, we working, come in early in the morning, and that's just the type of person he is.
Fabrizio has coached his share of teams, but he says he works to get a little sharper each season.
Every year, you know, is an opportunity to learn, an opportunity to get better, just learning how to deal with kids, how to conduct practice, how to be more efficient in how we do things.
And that's apparent with every whistle, play, and drill. The system is orderly and effective, but most of all, it's designed to extract the best out of all on the field. Not just him, but his large extended family too.
He's the head of the family, so we do what he's saying. We follow him as he leads. He's really the best coach around. That's why we win games. He wants the most out of every player. He wants your best, just like a father would want your best.
And on Friday night, the best has been on full display. The team is undefeated. The systematic fine-tuning of each athlete gleams on the turf. But don't be fooled. He may look like he has it down to a science, but it's also an art of love.
The opportunity to work with kids and to develop them and see them grow as young men and into productive citizens is really, really special.
A special experience he encounters daily. Something he says has been a dream come true.
And let's learn a little bit more about Coach and his family. Fabrizio has been married for 13 years to his wife, Mary Catherine. He has a son and a daughter. Nicholas is 12 and Eliza is 10. Family also has 2 pets, a cat and a dog. All right, guys, and that brings us to the trivia portion of our show right now. We like to call it Theo versus everyone because Theo takes on everyone who comes on. So welcome, Coach.
All right.
And the way it works, guys, is it's pretty simple. I'll ask you trivia questions. You buzz in to answer. If you get it right, you get a ball, and the person with the most at the end wins.
Right.
Are you guys ready for this?
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, cool. We'll start off here. All right, so these first couple questions are going to be this or that questions. I'll give you some options, and you have to pick one of them. And what do the following NFL quarterbacks have in common? Steve Young, Boomer Esiason, and Ken Stabler. Either they all played high school football in Alabama, or they're all left-handed.
Left-handed.
All right, that's right.
Ooh,
you got
let's
it.
Go. I'm left-handed too, so that's for the brothers.
All the left-handed folks out there. I wasn't trying to be partial here.
Yeah.
All right, And LSU football coach Les Miles has been known to eat this on the sideline during games.
Grass.
Yep, I was gonna say grass or chalk. We've seen it. We've seen it done.
Yeah, many
Not
times.
necessarily.
We good, we good.
We're good.
I don't know how nutritious it is, but we'll keep going here.
It's organic.
Yeah, exactly. He said it's not like he's eating a casserole, is what I heard him say in one post-game interview. And which quarterback currently holds the Georgia high school record for passing yards?
Oh.
That was like a dead
That was
tie.
close.
I'll
You
give
got-
it to
you got
Coach.
it.
He's
He's
our
a guest.
guest.
Okay, we'll go Deshaun Watson.
That's correct. Deshaun Watson has it over Jake Fromm. Deshaun Watson, 13,077. All right, and now we're going to go to rapid-fire questions, which are more like you have to come up with the answer as opposed to me giving you choices. And again,
Yes.
first person to buzz in. Right now, Coach up by 1. Which failed football league was created by WWE owner Vince McMahon?
XFL.
Yep, that's right. He's got that.
All right, it's all good. I like to come back. That's what I do.
Exactly. And who was the commissioner of the NFL prior to Roger Goodell?
Ooh, I don't got it. Whew.
Nobody?
Cricket.
Oh,
Pete Rozelle.
no. That's 2 before, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul Tagliabue.
Oh,
Yep,
yeah, okay.
Paul Tagliabue.
Yeah, okay.
1989 through 2006. We'll keep going, though. Now, who is the youngest football player ever to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame?
I think it's up there right there. Gil Sayers?
Yes.
It's up. I don't know. I mean, do I get the point?
Yeah, you get the
Did
point.
you-
You saw it
did you
before
know
me. You saw it before me, so I guess you get it.
Was that what
I'll
you
take
were
it.
planning on
I was,
saying?
hey, I'm a Gil Sayers guy all the way through and through.
All right, well, that kind of brings us to our halftime here. Theo got a little handicap point there, but Coach is still up by 1. We're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we'll see if Theo can get back into it or if Coach kind of pulls away with this one.
I need it.
Welcome back. Right now, we're in the middle of trivia playing Theo versus everyone, and we got Coach Fabrizio here from Lee County taking on Theo. He's actually winning right now. So with that being said, let's get back into it. See if you guys can pull out, make a little bit of make it interesting.
We'll make
here.
it competitive.
Yep.
Here, yeah.
All right. What stadium will the GHSA Football State Championship be played at?
Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
That's right.
There we go, man. What you
Is that the
doing?
new name? I thought it's not the Georgia Dome anymore.
Nah, no more the Georgia Dome. Come on.
I thought it was the new Georgia Dome.
The new Georgia Dome. All right, we'll keep moving along. And who was the first freshman to ever win the Heisman Trophy?
Oh, I got a penalty one right there.
You don't have to do that. He just gets a chance.
That's Johnny Football Menzel in Texas A&M.
Yep.
I'm from Texas now. You know I'm gonna get that.
Oh,
Come on,
Theo's-
Bree.
All right, now we're going to the last question, which is a video question, and it's actually worth 2 footballs, so either you can win it or Theo can seal the victory here. The Florida Gators barely pulled off a win last week over Kentucky that extends the nation's longest FBS streak. How many games in a row have the Gators beat the Wildcats?
Sorry about that. I got this one. 31.
Yep, that's right.
Look, I was all over the place. You know, the funny thing is, Coach Gabe Gardenia at ASU, he told me I was going to beat you, Coach.
I'll have to talk to him about that.
Of course. Well, that's good. Good. Hey, that was a good effort. I love it.
Thank you.
Your
Congratulations.
And your first loss of the season?
Your possibly first win of the season.
whatever. Well, we still got more to go with you, Coach Fabrizio. Thanks
Great.
for coming on. Right after this break, we're going to talk a little bit more about what. And there he goes.
Oh, my goodness.
That was when he was a
Oh,
freshman
my goodness.
at Lee
Look at
County.
that. Wow.
We'll talk more with him about Lee County and his Trojans after the break. Welcome back to Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. We have Coach Dean Fabrizio of Lee County. He's in his 9th season. They're 6-0. And, Coach, that specific number is big because that's the best start the Trojans have ever had in their history. You've done it 3 times before this season, but you guys are trying to reach number 7. Let's take a look at the graphic that we have because 3 times before you've tried to reach number 7, and you pointed something out to me earlier about this, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first, we want to talk about what happened in those technical game number 7s. In 2016, a loss to Northside, a tough team. And then in 2014 and 2012, you lost to Thomas County Central. This year, you guys have Houston County, a chance on the road to get win number 7. And, Coach, so what do you think it will be like to try and break that mold of just getting 6, getting that 7th win?
You know, we really haven't talked a whole lot about that, but the key thing that I see on there that you see in those 3 games, we lost to 3 pretty good teams. You know, all those years, Adam Choice was the quarterback at Thomas County, I think, 2012 and 14, the great quarterback they had who's now at Clemson. And, of course, Northside's got a great program as well. So I think that's the common denominator there is we lost to some great teams with great coaches and great players. But, we're just we haven't really thought a lot about that. I guess that's something we should be thinking about. First chance to go 7-0, but you know, we haven't talked about that a whole lot.
Right, and this just in, when you're out there trying to get win number 7 this week on Friday at Houston County, there will be a special guest. Can you break to everybody who that special guest will be in attendance?
Well, we've heard there's a good chance Coach Harbaugh may be at the game, and that's a neat thing when anytime you have a big-time college coach from a big program come to your game. You know, last year when we played Houston County, Kirby Smart made an appearance at the game and watched a little over half of football, and that was pretty neat. And then this year, you got Coach Harbaugh coming all the way down from Michigan to watch us play Houston County, so it's exciting and adds a lot to an already big game atmosphere.
That's right. It'll be a big game going up against 2-4 Houston County. That's next for Lee County. We'll be following you guys throughout the season. Thanks for joining us again, Coach Fabrizio. Almost caught you Harbaugh there. We'll see you guys throughout the rest of the season.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you guys for watching.